All right, let's do this. Let's start with a little bit of history. Pedometer first came into market in Japan in 1965 under the name Manpo Kei. Manpo Kei literally translated to 10,000 steps meter. I'm probably butchering Japanese pronunciation. I apologize to the people who can actually speak Japanese. Right, so Manpo Kei, it translated 10,000 steps per day. So that's where I started. There was no real scientific evidence behind it. The reason I decided to make this video, someone sent me a video clip of a news segment. They were talking about there's no real scientific evidence behind 10,000 steps per day. It's a marketing gimmick by pedometer manufacturers, so there's no real point doing 10,000 steps per day. Although they are technically not incorrect, sometimes I understand with mainstream media and social media, sometimes you have to make bold statements to get views up or get eyeballs into your channel, but sometimes when you do that, you can end up conveying a wrong message or harming people. Right, so if 10,000 steps per day is not based on scientific evidence, how many steps per day is optimal? Right, so I'm going to briefly discuss about 3 different studies, then we will discuss practical application as per usual. Right, so the first one, this is a randomized crossover study. There are evidence low activity levels can blunt metabolic benefits from exercise, also known as exercise resistance. So the goal of this study was to investigate or find out how many steps per day are required to overcome exercise resistance. Right, they divided participants into 3 groups. Low group, they were averaging about 2,675 steps per day. The next group they named limited. So they were averaging about 4,759 steps per day. The last group they named normal. That's a weird name. Anyway, they were averaging about 8,481 steps per day. Right. They found 5,000 steps per day is not enough to overcome exercise resistance, and 8,000 steps per day is enough. So the number of steps required to overcome exercise resistance lay anywhere between 5,000 to 8,000 steps. Right, in this type of situation, I encourage to aim for the higher end because there's no really harm aiming for the high end in this situation. Even if your goal is not fat loss, for health reasons, it's beneficial to aim for 5,000 to 8,000 steps per day, aim for the higher end. Right, so the next one, this observational study, they found a greater number of daily steps was significantly associated with lower all-cause mortality. So that the rate of all-cause mortality was consistently dropping till like 12,000 steps per day. Between 12,000 steps and 16,000 steps per day, there was no significant between 12K and 16K steps per day, right? Again, this is a observational study. Observational studies cannot establish causation unless you have a highly physically demanding job. Doing 12,000 steps per day requires conscious effort. So when you put on conscious effort to be active, you tend to do other things. You tend to pay attention to other areas as well, like your nutrition, stress, sleep, all that good habits. Also, generally people who has high activity level has their BMI under control, and they have lower body fat level, right? That brings me to the next study. So this study looked at the number of steps and the weight regain after losing body weight. People who maintained high activity level, they they actually maintained their body weight long term, so that reduces the chance of regaining after a weight loss program or a weight loss period. Right. So practical application. So the 10,000 steps per day is not a rule for everyone that must stick to. However, 5 to 8,000 steps per day may be enough to overcome exercise resistance or maximize or enough to get maximum metabolic benefits from exercise. And for the high end, which is 8,000 steps per day, overweight and obese people, or people who are trying to lose body fat or body weight, they can benefit from doing higher number of steps, because that increases the energy expenditure that will help them to get to their goal quicker. Maintaining a higher activity levels help prevent weight gain and maintain results long term. Right. That's it. I'll see you in another video.